The fourth item needing consideration is approving fleet services to issue purchase orders for Mesa County 2024 replacement vehicles and equipment to recommended qualified vendors utilizing approved cooperation purchasing programs in the amount not to exceed the 2024 approved vehicle and equipment capital replacement budget request of $1,993,000. We have Eric Brown, our public fleet supervisor, here to present today. Good morning.
Good morning, and thank you. Good morning, Commissioners, Madam Chair. This request or item is to approve the fleet services to issue purchase orders and purchase the 2024 replacement vehicles, which consists of 6 heavy equipment, which is the bulk of that, well, about half of that, and 17 light and medium duty vehicles. These are replacement vehicles, not additional vehicles. So they'll go into replace vehicles for our fleet. Some of those vehicles that are still have some useful life left will kind of waterfall back into replace vehicles that have been in that position. So they've been replaced, but we're still utilizing those vehicles because they still have useful life, and there's areas that require low use, and so we keep those, and they've been depreciated out. So it seems to work well in this model. So anyhow, that budgeted amount is what we kind of forecasted. Pricing has gone up a bunch over the years, but I think we're still able to maintain and do what we need to do with that amount. So.
Thank you, Eric. Commissioners, do you have any comments or questions?
We don't.
So we bought a bunch of different F-150s. Why the steep price difference between the 2 units that are closer to 70,000 and the other units that are closer to 39, 40,000?
So it's the model that we picked. They're all XL packages, so the lower level package, but 2 of those vehicles were just regular cab, 8-foot beds. So it's usually that type. One of them is a 4-door crew cab. The other, I think there's maybe 4 more in our super cab trucks. So it's the model that, even though they're listed as the same truck, it's the bed length and the cab design.
Which I assume is needed in some applications.
I'm sorry.
Which I assume is needed in some applications, the crew cab.
Yes. Yeah, and so some of these vehicles were, and they're 23, so they were leftovers out of 23 that we're able to take advantage of. Right now, some order banks haven't even opened for 25 trucks. So right now, if I was to order those, they've retained these trucks for us. So they're actually kind of slated for fleet already. So that's kind of how that's been the last few years since COVID, because we've got an annual budget cycle. You know, I can put orders in, but I don't know if I'll be approved for that budget. So it's some of these dealers have been holding on to these vehicles for us, and we got pretty good pricing at that as well. So we didn't incur some of the increases that we've seen in the newer trucks.
And this includes some of the upgrades that need to be made to the vehicles afterwards?
So a lot of these are set up that way, like on the Sheriff's Department vehicles. These responders are the F-150s that the Sheriff's Department decided to go to, and with discussions with fleet. So that platform is something they want to see on their future vehicles, but that doesn't include all the upfitting. So some of that will come later. A lot of those costs get put back into their operational, or get charged to their operational costs.
Okay.
That I try to predict every year. That's ever changing.
Pleasure. Okay. I have any further questions?
Have some of the supply chain issues been alleviated?
It's getting better. So I think there's hope. And I think it's just the influx of COVID and a few years of having that supply and demand so messed up that it seems to be getting better. The one thing I think I've seen is there's more government incentives now that are coming out. They kind of took those way down. They were once you were looking at something that you might get like 1%, 2% of a government incentive. That's because of the supply and demand. Then I think those incentives are getting better right now. So
Great, thank you. Is there anyone from the public that has comments on this item? Okay. Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the item as entered into the record.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Thank you, Eric.
Yard.